Michael, is there preferred gear or the best gear in order to make music for libraries or commercials or television?
That's a great question, and I'm glad that you and I are having this conversation because we're both gear lovers from way back when. But honestly, the vast majority of the music that you hear, especially in television today, is created with a home studio that's surprisingly stripped down in many cases. Some of our taxi members that are the biggest earning members that make six-figure or multiple six-figure incomes oftentimes have almost embarrassingly stripped down studios with nothing more than a moderately beefy Macintosh, usually Macs, sometimes PCs. I know guys that, one guy in particular I can think of that has like a 10-year-old 13-inch MacBook Pro with like 4 gigs of RAM in it. It's nothing. And this guy is definitely making a six-figure income. And last time I checked with him 2 years ago, he was already over 150K a year, having only done this for about 5 or 6 years. And he barely has any equipment. But what he's done is learned his software really well. And almost all software is reasonably to very good today. The samples have become really good, but it's knowing how to articulate things like they would be if a real player were playing it. Would that fiddle, would it be bowed like this or would it be bowed like that? So the dynamics of real instruments, the phrasing, all the articulations, those are the things that will take you a lot farther than buying the most esoteric piece of gear. Now, is it more fun to have, a Neve compressor? Yeah, if you can hear the difference and hear how good a Neve equalizer, a Neve preamp sounds, and have that in a rack and be able to plug it in your home studio, yay, go for it. But nobody on the buyer side, on the end user side, is ever going to say, wow, I love the sound of that acoustic guitar, so I'm going to use that piece of music in my TV show. They're choosing it because it works in the scene, because it helps to amplify the emotion in the scene. It makes the viewer feel something, and the music, I hate to say it, is almost subliminal at that point. It's not, they're not looking for the best recording. So the gear's not that important.
Do you see certain pieces of software that everybody seems to be using, a commonality between the software?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to mention any brands here because I know a lot of the manufacturers or reps for the manufacturers. I don't want to seem like I favor one over the other because I personally don't. But I do know that it seems like a lot of people will, orchestral guys will tend to favor the same libraries, like maybe the Vienna Symphony or Vienna Symphonic Library, I believe, VSL. A few of them use something, it catches on, they kind of personally endorse it through word of mouth to their friends. And it is that's one example of an extremely robust library that is not that expensive. That said, I know people that have multi-$1,000 string libraries. I would put my money on the horse, the person, that has a $500 library and really knows how to use it and understands what string players sound like or anybody in the context of an orchestra and can use it well, rather than somebody that goes out and buys a $3,000 or $5,000 library and doesn't understand that stuff. So it's not so much the gear as it is the ear.